Hi folks, this is Kellyanne with Church Windows. We're going to go ahead and get started with today's webinar. Today we're going to look at browse attendance in the membership module. Let me go ahead and get rid of what's on screen and let me show you on our website. I'm using material from one of our workbooks which we sell. You don't need the material to follow along or understand what I'm showing you, but if you own the workbooks or are interested in purchasing the workbooks, we'd like to show you that. So if you go to our website and look under beginning and then training workbooks, you'll see information about pricing and packages. But what I'm using today is from membership 202, pages 17 through 29, I believe. Oh, wait, I got it right in front of me. 17 through 26. Then if you look, you can see you can download, purchase a downloadable version, or you can purchase a version where we print it and bind it and send it to you. But if you want to follow along, we're looking at Browse Attendance in Membership 202, the most recent book. Older books, it might look a little different with all the changes we've had. But again, you don't need the workbook to understand what I'm going to show you today, but we like to let you know where the material's coming from in case you do want written material or to purchase the workbooks. All right, if it's your first time using the GoToWebinar toolbar, there was a little presentation on screen showing you how that worked. Hopefully you watched that, but a few quick pointers, a little arrow on the side of the toolbar, orange arrow. If you click that, it will minimize it down so it's not blocking what I'm showing you. And then to open it back up, just click that arrow. You might want it open at some times because I'm not going to unmute people for questions, but there is a question panel on your GoToWebinar toolbar, and you can type things in there, and I will answer those out loud at the end of the class. If you type your question while I'm showing material, Josh is also listening in, and he can type responses to people who have a question while I'm showing things. You might want to hold off to the end, though, because I might answer your question as we're working through material, and if you wait till the end, then I can, read it out loud and answer it for everyone. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at Browse Attendance. So I've gone ahead and opened membership by just clicking on membership. Make it come up really quick. I'm going to maximize it so we can see as much as possible on the screen. Browse Attendance is where you can take a look at all the attendance you've entered into the membership program, going through attendance entry. Once you've entered attendance, that browse screen is a great place to go. Just look on screen or even print reports from there. And let's go ahead and look. You get there by clicking attendance in the upper left and just under that, browse. And that should open the browse screen here momentarily. There we go. Let me size it a little so we can see all the items here. Let's just maximize. Now we can see all the buttons along the bottom. If your screen's ever going to kind of get lost, you have to scroll on the sides or along the bottom. I like to maximize all of mine, and that way, they don't get lost. I may have to scroll along the side, but they don't get lost up into frameworks and things. All right, let's look at browse attendance. Here, if you want to see somebody's attendance right away, you just click the little plus sign by their name, and you can see what's already been entered for them. Now, normally this screen, that's odd because I had been practicing it and playing around in here and thought I left it in a certain state, and it's different. All right, normally, I'm going to reset it here so you can see this is normally how your screen will open to show you grouped by attendee, all of your attendance, and it defaults to your current year. We can see that over, let me get my spotlight tool to point out a few things. Here on the right, we can see it's already looking at our current year of 2018. Defaults to include all your categories, upper right as well. But if we look along the left, you see little plus signs beside each person's name. To see what they've attended, just click the plus sign and that opens up to show you everything. But let's look at different ways we can view attendance other than the default way that it opens up. If you're following along in the book, I'm at the bottom of page 17. We can view by a certain event or group or class. Maybe we only want to see our first and second grade. Upper left here, I'm going to uncheck events. Now to the right of that, I can narrow down to just my classes. And then under that, I can see it will just show me my classes now. And I can choose my first and second grade. And once I do that, It's only showing me now who I marked attendance for my first and second graders. So that's an easy way to see just by a certain event. Now we could also, let me go ahead and choose, or event or group class. I said just event, but I meant all of those. While we're looking at the drop-down list, you can click on these column headers to have it sort by either code or description. Because the first ones are all numbers, it doesn't look like it's shifting much. But if you look at the bottom few, you'll see as I'm clicking code and description how it's either sorting what I see here by code or description. If we look here, we could look at Sunday worship, and we see just who has attended for Sunday worship. All right, we can also, if you look at the bottom of page 18, we can view by a specific date range. Clear all this out. So we're looking at everything. Again, the default is to look at the entire year. So here we see we're looking at 1/1 through 12/31 of 2018. Just to the left of that, we can just click the minus year to have it change a year back. And another year back, and notice here my date range are changing. If I click the plus year, I can go forward. And that just changes without me having to go into change dates, columns, and sort, changes my date, my entire year that I'm looking at. Excuse me. Now I can also, though, if I click on over to the left, if I click on change dates, column, and sort, right on the first tab here, I can change my date range. Maybe I just want to look at the first quarter. You can type in these fields, or you can, as I like to do, move through the calendar with the arrows and then click on the day I want. And now if I say OK, it's only showing, notice upper right here, it tells me it's showing my attendance for 1/1 through 3/31. It's not going to look much different if I show you things here because I think we only have attendance for January and February, and I threw a little bit in for October so I can show you this. Let's clear our date. So we're back to looking at the entire year. If I'd like, I can just look at a specific month. Here in the right, I can tell it I just want to see October. And now we see, if we open up here and look, we're only seeing entries for October. I could tell it I want to see October of 2017 by just clicking the minus year. And now look, it's just looking at October of 2017, which we don't have anything in for, so it's blank. Let's go forward back to October. So there we can see it by a certain date range. We can see the view by a certain month. We can also change the appearance with our columns and sort on that change date, columns, and sort. Let's go ahead and look more at that. So I'm going to click change dates column, or change dates column and sort. I'm used to change year in accounting. We can see that button. It shows it at the top of page 20. Next thing on page 20, it shows how we can change the date range. We already looked at that. Below that, we can choose to include, if we print a report, notice upper right, we can click print. We're going to look at that a little later. If we print a report, do we want it to show on, for the additional information, if we include that, do we want it to show the codes or the descriptions? So we can choose either of those, and that pertains to groups and classes, additional information you can add. And we can look at columns, bottom of page 20, and then move to top of page 21 to see how the columns work. If you've worked with reports in any of the modules, then you're probably familiar with the columns tab. It's pretty easy. The right side is the visible columns, or what will appear on the grid. Now let me real quick. Here we're looking at date, whether they're present, whether they're excused, events or groups and classes, communion, and additional information. So here, if we look here, we can see those things. Go back to that. If we don't want to see all of that, maybe we don't need to know if they're excused, we don't want to track communion or additional information. We just want the date, whether they were present or not, and the name of the event or group class. So I just clicked on the field and used the arrow, the left arrow, to move it over to the left. We can also change the order of our columns with the arrows here to the right. So maybe I want the event or group class at the top, then the date and whether they were present. But once we have that how we want, we can click OK. And now it's just showing the specific columns I set on that Columns tab. Now we can also have it group and sort on that tab as well. Notice right now we're grouping by attendee. If I click on that Group and Sort tab, we can see we're grouping by attendee. Maybe we want to group by date. And then after that, event group class. We can have up to 3 sort fields. You don't have to have 3. Maybe we just want to group by date. So we can remove that second sort field by clicking that little X. Now if I click OK, notice the screen has changed to show me, and I forgot, I'm just looking at October, but it's changed to show me the attendance grouped by date rather than grouped by attendee. Now, I can change that to have no grouping. I can go back into the change dates and click on that Group and Sort tab to uncheck Group by Field. And if I do that, then it's going to sort by date. So we have our earliest date to the latest, but it's not grouping by date. Now, I can do that Group and Sort by checking Group by Field right on the Group and Sort tab under Change Dates, Columns, and Sort. Or another thing we can do, if you look at the bottom of page 22, is we can click and drag to group by items. It tells us above the column headers, drag a column here to group by that column up to 3, just like we have the 3 group and sort, or the 3 group and sort options here in the Change Dates, Columns, and Sort. So you can do it right here, or I can click on the column header and drag it right here and drop it. And I can do up to 3 sorts. So here I am first, or grouping. I'm having it first group by date, then event group or class, and then attendee. So now if I look within here, I see for 10/7, we only have Sunday worship taken. Thought I did. There we go. Let's look at 10/14 because I knew I did some first and second grade for October. So it's showing us within each one, it's grouped by date, then it's grouped by event, then it's grouping by attendee. I probably don't want to group by attendee because we've already grouped down to, show the date, so they can only attend once during that date. But I wanted you to see how you can sort and group, and then you can group by up to 3 items right there by clicking those column headers. Now to get back to my regular screen, I can just click on these column headers, drop them where I want them here, and now I have no grouping or sorting going on right now. Well, I have sorting. I think it's sorting by date. You can also sort right on the screen. You don't have to click that Change Dates column or Columns and Sort tab. I can click right on a column header, and notice now it is sorting from A to Z, and it's showing me with that little arrow. I can click attendee again, and now it's sorting that column from Z to A. So I can click on any of my column headers to have it sort as well. So that's a quick, easy way. You can do it right here, or if you want to set it, you can go into the Change Dates column and sort. Now I can also right here on the screen change my column order by just clicking and dragging and dropping them where I want them. So that can be done really quickly right on screen, or you can go into that Change Dates column and sort and do that there as well. One more thing here we have is the Fonts tab, where you can change the fonts that would print on a report if you decide to print a report from this screen. All right. Now, page 24 goes into how we can view attendance by individual. Actually, though, I think I missed a few things. Along the bottom, there's a few things here that I think I'm not keeping my head in the book. If we want to clear a filter, we can just click on Clear Filter. If we want to restore the default of the program, which I could have done at the beginning and forgot about, I can click Restore Default Layout along the bottom. If I wanted to open up all of these so I can see every single one open, I can click Expand All. And now we can see, we don't have to click every single plus sign to see everything. And somebody asked what version I'm using. This is version 21.18.1. When we teach, we'll always teach using the most current version of the program. I just happened to glance over and see that, so figured I'd go ahead and answer that for everyone. Collapse all, if you want those all to close back up, we can click on collapse all, and that collapses it. Refresh attendance, that's more often used in a network setting where maybe people are entering attendance while you're looking at this, and you want to refresh to make sure you have the most current data in your screen. You can click on refresh attendance. All right. Now, the screen opens up to show you everybody who you've marked attendance for, but maybe you just want to see one person's information on the screen. We can easily do that, and I'm at the top of page 24 if you're following along in the book. We can easily view just one person's attendance information. We could go to the record and do it, or here on this screen, we can upper left start typing the person's name, and then we can click on that name, and now we're just seeing the person we searched for in the upper left. We can go ahead and search for another person, and that will show us that person's attendance as well. So pretty easy to see that. You also, if you like, could scroll through this list rather than typing in the box and click on a name, or you can use these little arrows to the right to alphabetically move through the different people in your database. All right. We can edit attendance right on the screen. It is always live and active, so if you find you made a mistake, maybe we found here Aaron did not attend on 2/11, we can uncheck right here on the screen, present, didn't commune either, and that is automatically saved. So be careful that you're not clicking around and accidentally checking or unchecking things, because that is automatic. Another way we could do it would be to actually go to the attendance entry screen. So if we go to attendance entry, and we would to pull up, let's go to first and second grade. Maybe one of our entries for this day was incorrect. Here in attendance entry, same thing. It's always active, so if you uncheck something, it's automatically saved. There is no save button, so you can edit here as well. And then we just close once we're done. I actually did that in reverse. Page 25 shows you how to do the browse screen, and then it first it showed you the attendance entry and then browse. I did it opposite. So if we go back to browse, I'll show you again here. I can really easily just change something right in the browse screen as well, and that's automatic. There's no save button. That change, as soon as I close the screen, it's there. So if she really did attend, I'd want to make sure I put that back. You can, if you need to, add attendance right from the screen. First, we'd want to find the person we need, maybe Donna Bell. We want to add some attendance for her. We just click on Add Attendance once we find the person, and then we can fill in the information here. Maybe we had service this morning. So she attended. We could say Save, fill in all the information. Whoops, I got to put the group or class she went to. Actually, let's do this. Uncheck groups classes, and now I can see Sunday worship really easily. Whoops, that would not be Sunday worship. We'll say contemporary worship. They had a service this morning. Say save. And now, oops, was that Donna Bell? I forgot which name I used. I think that was Donna Bell. Yes, here we go. We can see right at the top 11-7, the entry that I just added for Donna Bell. All right. Last but not least, on page 26, we also can print from the attendance entry screen. First thing we'd want to do is get the attendance up that we'd like to see. Maybe we want to print our first and second grade class. Oops, I just asked for Donna. That's what's wrong. I need to clear Donna's name with this X at the end of the line. Now I can see my attendance for, let's expand all with the button, for my first and second grade Sunday school. I want to make sure before I hit print that I have everything on this that I want to see. I've got all the columns I need. I have it grouped how I want. Maybe on fonts, I want my page header to be 12 and bold instead of the default size, so I can say OK. Now upper right, I can click print. It should bring up a nice preview of exactly what I brought up on that browse screen, a nice little preview of, we have Jen, Nate, and Rob's attendance for October for the first and second grade Sunday school class. Oh, we have one September in there as well, and 1 November. So about the past month. And then at the end of the report, it does give us a summary of what we were looking for and what the report contains. One more thing, right here we have an options button, and I noticed I just want to go ahead and show you that, even though it's not in the material, might be in another section. All this little button does is in attendance, you can track communion. If you want to do that, you can check here. Excused absence tracking, if you want to be able to do that, you can check here for groups or classes. And here's where you can relabel some of the fields in the second column if you wanted it to be a different name. You can click in that column and change it. And somebody asked me, I didn't know, just recently this week, I was asked, why is there groups classes and groups classes short name? There are some areas in the program where there aren't enough characters or there's not enough space for it to print out groups classes. So it's letting you know that the short name will just be groups. So if you see groups on a area in the program, that just means that not enough characters are available there for it to put that long name, and that's why it has short name. Does the same thing for skills and interests as well in some areas. All right, so that's everything I wanted to show you. I'm sorry I went a minute over. If you need to leave, just click the X on your GoToWebinar toolbar, and that would exit you from the webinar. But I'm going to stick around and see, are there any questions? Just go ahead and open your question panel, and you can type those right in, and I'll read those out loud for everyone. While I'm waiting for that, let me show you real quick how you can see your version, because that was the first question. If you're not sure of your version, usually, if you're on one of the more current versions, it's in the upper right corner. You can see here we're on 21.18.1. 18 stands for the year, so this is our 2018 version. Used to be, they were called differently, like 2018, 2019, or 2009, I think, was maybe the last one that was called by the actual year. There's something else I wanted to tell you about the version, but I can't think of what it was. All right. So any other questions? I'm not seeing any come in. I think once you see the screen and you see all the different things there, they're pretty easy to work with. It's just knowing where everything is. So the webinars are always a nice little overview of where things are and showing you what it can do. But browse, if you think about it, it's just browse attendance it's kind of like browse donations or browse accounting. It's where you see the actual things you've entered. So once you do attendance entry, those items can be shown in the browse screen or on reports. But if you want a visual on screen, you go to your browse screen. All right, I'm not seeing any questions coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and end today's webinar. Real quick, if it is your first time attending and maybe somebody else at the church signed you up and said, hey, log in here, sent you the email and told you go to this webinar, let me show you, whoops, on our website. Oops, I can hit the home button. That one take me there. On our website, if you go under beginning and then click on free online webinars, here you can see the schedule of all the different webinars, different modules. We've got a lot of end of year webinars coming up, but there are, if you miss a webinar, we do record these and then put them up on our website as well. So you can find pre-recorded webinars that you can watch at your leisure. But feel free to sign up for as many as you like. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar. Have a great day. I hope you learned something new, and I'm sure I'll talk to you on the phone in the future. Bye.